Goggins defied all odds. Statistically, Goggins was in a life of depression, violence, and unfulfilled potential. Those raised in abusive households like Goggins have higher rates of depression, chronic pain, and more. Additionally, many turn to smoking, drinking, drugs, and other unsafe behaviors that lead to addiction, legal trouble, and whatnot. So how did he do it? Goggins will tell you it was his daily decisions that allowed him to overcome his obstacles and live a successful life despite being dealt a bad deal in life. Let's get started further in the story. David saw the Navy SEALs training on TV. Navy SEALs are most lethal fighting force with the toughest training in the world. To become a SEAL, you had to be among the best. David watched as they struggled through mud, sweat, and tears, and was amazed at their mental toughness and determination to keep going. Before the show even ended, Goggins was making calls to recruiters around the country to become admitted to SEALs training. But Goggins get to know that he was overweight to join the Navy SEALs, and the program to recruit SEALs was shutting down in just 3 months. Weighing in at 297 pounds, Goggins would need to lose 107 pounds in less than 3 months. That's more than a pound a day for 90 days. Over the next 3 months, Goggins implemented a strict fitness routine. Every day, Goggins would wake up at 4:30 a.m. and hit the gym bike for 2 hours. After that, he would drive to the nearest pool and swim for another 2 hours. Then, he would head to the gym for some intense circuit training that included at least 5 sets of 200 reps for all major muscle groups. His day was still not over, however, and he'd spend the rest of his day on the exercise bike, both before and after dinner. Additionally, he created a new accountability mirror and fought through the depression and negativity that told him that he couldn't do it. Believe it or not, Goggins lost the weight and joined the 6-month program, which is aimed at choosing 30 of the toughest 120 candidates. Most of the dropouts occurred during the 3rd week, referred to as Hell Week. Throughout the week, candidates are exposed to extreme life-threatening conditions at sea and are incredibly sleep-deprived. In fact, it is so hard that people often die during this week. It was during this week that Goggins developed the concept of the armored mind. He had failed Hell Week twice already, and his 3rd attempt would be his last. He realized that if he wanted to reach his goal, he would have to penetrate the minds of the instructors standing in his way. He shouted at his team while in training to not give up and should win. David said that Navy SEAL training is about showing that you can handle much more than you think you can, and with that comes a stronger mentality. He says that a strong mind can help you overcome the toughest moments and challenges of life. Remembering what you've overcome and conquered can help you bypass negative thought loops in your mind that try and take over when you want to give in and quit. The best way to have strong mindset is by push the hardest when you want to quit the most. You want to get to the point where not doing the things that you know you should haunts you. Goggins achieved his ultimate goal and became a Navy SEAL. But soon he found himself not satisfied with the challenge that training and Hell Week once gave him. He questioned himself. How could he push himself further? Goggins discovered the answer. He was seeking through extreme long-distance running, also known as ultra running. He simply woke up one morning and began running and continued running for 100 miles. If you were to wake up tomorrow and decide to run 100 miles, do you think you could do it? We would immediately say no, that's impossible. But Goggins was determined, and he knew that his mind was the only thing stopping him. He went on a 100-mile trail marathon called HURT 100 to apply for the exclusive ultra marathon. The other runners supported him but kept telling him that he was unprepared with his equipment, food, and training. This trail run had all sorts of rocks and roots sticking out up an incline, whereas all his preparation was done on a flat surface. David says that there's a governor in your brain that tells you that you're out of energy and to give up. In reality, when you think you're all used up, you're only 50% done. How do you keep going? You have to retrain your mind's programming to tolerate more and more pain. There's no shortcut for this. You have to spend years and years pushing your comfort zone and pain threshold, teaching your mind that you can handle more. David ended up walking the last 20 of the Hurt 100. He wasn't a master of his mind yet. He was still in training. He believes he only used 60% of his capacity during that race. Despite that, his wife had to carry him afterwards. David believes you can pull out more energy and motivation when you compete with yourself rather than compete with others. His next exercise is to push a little further when you think you can't push anymore. When you feel like your body is screaming at you to stop, push 5 to 10% more. This gradual increase will prevent injury and reset your baseline. Every week after that, push 5 to 10% more beyond your last point. If the max pulls you've ever done is 10, do 15 or 20. David ended up running Badwater and finishing in 5th place. He didn't feel as good about it as he could because he felt like there's more potential in him that he could pull out. Next, he competed in the Ultraman Marathon in Hawaii, in which he ended up finishing 2nd by 10 minutes. David says that you have 160 hours in a week, and you should be doing more work than the 40-hour work week. You have enough time to work hard, spend with family, and get your nutrition and exercise in order. During one of his races, Goggins noticed an irregular heart rate, and a trip to the hospital revealed a lifelong condition where it was told that he should not run anymore. And his running career got ended. Once the Navy found out about his success in marathoning, they quickly turned Goggins into one of their top recruiters. His job was to make becoming a Navy SEAL more appealing to young black men. Of course, Goggins took on the role with pride and focused on developing his recruiting, public speaking, and promoting skills. But he needed more. How could he continue to push himself and become another top performer? Goggins took to the internet to find that the world record for the most pull-ups in 24 hours was only 4,021. He discovered that he would need to complete 5 pull-ups a minute for more than 12 hours to break this record. After 2 failed attempts, one of which was nationally broadcast, he went back to the drawing board. He came up with a new strategy, and on January 20, Goggins broke the world record for pull-ups. Despite growing up in an abusive home, Goggins overcame his traumatic childhood by simply working hard and committing himself to his goals. He started with his accountability mirror when he placed his goals in plain sight on Post-it notes. From there, he was able to pass the ASVAB and join the military. However, Goggins didn't stop there. In just 3 months, he lost over 100 pounds and was accepted into the SEALs training program. There, Goggins learned the power of his mind. Even when his body was shutting down, he could keep going if he blocked the pain and told himself anything was possible. This mindset allowed Goggins to accomplish the seemingly impossible and become a successful ultra-marathon runner. Of course, you don't need to run 100 miles. Instead, you can crush your goals through simple hard work and getting up early. That's it for this video. I'll be back soon. Till then, subscribe to Undistracted Grind.